Next, I get to bring up Ingrid. Ingrid Hertz, who is on the board of the Empathy Center and the Empathy Circle facilitator in training. Today, Ingrid is going to talk about the Phoenix, building the new chapter of the empathy movement. Take it away, Ingrid.
Hello, hello everybody. I'm really happy to see so many of you here. It encourages me because of what Edwin said and everyone before, what it really takes to change the culture. And there are some of you here that I've known for a while and I feel really close to because you became part of my life. And there are others I just know a little. And there are many, many new faces. And I'm excited that you're here because I want to contribute something to you. And I want to contribute something that you can take away today that from what I will be sharing with you. And so I'm guessing you're here because you're already part of the empathy movement as a participant of circles or as a trainer, or you're here because like you would like to become part of the empathy movement because you're aware of the power of empathy. Or maybe you're completely new. You just found out about us, you found us somewhere online or through a friend, and you're curious. Either way, I hope to show you a way how you can get involved. I want to encourage you to take the next step. If you have been on the fence, and I hope to convey to you that your engagement matters and that you're welcome with us in our movement. So thank you for coming. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I grew up in Vienna, Austria, moved to the US in 92, lived in Phoenix for 30 years, and 3 years ago, I came with Daniel, who is also here on the call, and two young children. In 92, we lived in Phoenix for 30 years, and then 3 years ago, I moved to the Bay Area. And so all my adult life, I have really been deeply involved in building models for a better world. First, I started a co-housing a community in Vienna that is still thriving, even though Daniel and I never became part of it. Then we started an alternative school that our kids attended for a few years, and then we had a business that had a very um, solid social impact component. It was a pay-as-you-can weekly community dinner that ran for over 10 years. And so you can see I put a lot of energy and resources and time in my life to explore a project that I believed were valuable models for a world where my personal humanitarian values were realized. But as you also probably have guessed, I have not changed the world yet, but still trying. So I have reflected quite a bit on these parts of me that, first of all, think that the world needs changing, and then secondly, think that it's me who has to do it. And I mean, that's besides the point. What I want to say is, here in the empathy movement, I've really found a home. I've really found a place where I've landed. And there are a couple of reasons why I feel I have arrived. And one is that this is a bigger group which operates in a completely inclusive and egalitarian way, which is really important to me. And also, I don't have to do it alone. And the second reason is that I realize that we may not have those big results that I want to see in this completely different world where every person matters and is heard. I may not experience that in my lifetime, but and I'm not discounting that we may get there. I want to say that. So we may or may not. But what really is the difference for me here in the empathy movement is that while we are putting out all these efforts, I can enjoy myself. I can sit in empathy circles and I can be heard and I can receive the nourishment and the connection while I'm engaged in wanting to do something about the world. And that really makes a huge difference to me. So I want to share a few quotes with you what people have said about empathy circles. And these are things that I personally have heard people say. So one person said, there's pleasure in understanding each other. And then another person said, it is an irresistible space because I can bring all of myself. Then another person, somebody who is here today, said, you go in raw and you come out cooked. Love this one. And then someone from Phoenix, and if you know Phoenix, you'll understand that one in a different way. She said, if it was raining empathy, it could rain for months and we still could use more. So now that kind of brings me to Phoenix. As I told you earlier, I've lived in Phoenix for 30 years and that, okay, so where is the, I don't know where my presentation is now. Anyway, so why Phoenix? Because I've lived here for 30 years and I've lived there for 30 years. I was still pretty connected. I can't really find my, okay. Can't find my, oh, here comes my helper. Can't find it. It's gone. This is Daniel.
You closed it.
Okay. Well, so I've lived in Phoenix for 30 years and both Daniel and I built communities there. I did it through my business. I had these weekly community dinners, and Daniel is a musician and he organized a lot of events and he taught classes. And because of that, we had a pretty big community. And when I moved to California, I really didn't have the community. But after I got involved with the Empathy Center and I saw a community building in Santa Barbara where we did a lot of in-person trainings, I had this thought, well, we can do this in Phoenix. And okay, can you see that now?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think we can.
So I brought to the team that we were going to bring the empathy movement to Phoenix. And I also was pretty connected to the NDC community in Phoenix. So the question is also, why now? And we all know right now is really a time where we need empathy more than ever before. People are craving connection, and they don't always know how to find it. And the empathy movement is so basically we are needed anywhere we go. We will find a fertile soil in any place where we go. So and how do we do that? What is really the base of the movement? And we use practices that build connection. We have kind of three main strategies. One is our empathy circles. They are a structured conversation where we take turns without interrupting, without debating, where we just are present to each other and we reflect the other person so that they feel fully heard. The other practice we use, or the other element that we have in our movement that builds this really solid ground, we train people to lead those empathy circles. And those facilitator trainings are they are free and they enable people to lead their own circles in their own communities, in their workplaces, even in their families. And then the third kind of strategy that we use where you are right now, the empathy summits, where we bring in other people that are teaching or are public figures about empathy in the field of empathy. We share what we have learned and we invite people who just want to learn about it, but who maybe are not quite ready yet to participate in a circle. So at this point, we've held thousands and thousands of circles with hundreds, maybe even 1,000 trained facilitators, and we are global. To our events, like we see at this summit, where we have people from all over the world, but also to our facilitator training, we've had people from besides the US, from South America, from Europe, from Africa and Asia, and they also hold empathy circles in their countries. So local chapters, we have one in Santa Barbara. I said earlier that in Santa Barbara, we had a presence for a while where we did several in-person trainings. So there's a pretty strong chapter there. Then in Phoenix, we actually started in February. And in the Bay Area, there's a chapter forming. We are driven by volunteers. And we grow organically. So we grow by people who find benefit in what we're doing, and I hope you do too. Okay, so back to Phoenix. How did we launch that? So the disadvantage of being in a community was that we were able to secure a free venue, which is all, as I said, our events are free, and so having the resources to bring in to use free spaces is really very helpful.
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay. So we had we brought in 6 trainers. We had 12 participants in the first group. Several are still involved. I told you about Santa Barbara, where we have a strong group. And then I want to tell you, if you were to start a chapter, you would not be alone. We have a handbook, we have an organizer guide, we have templates for emails that you can send out, we have scripts. Like I said, we are non-profit. No one is paid. We do this because we believe in empathy. So what I'd like to do now is to invite you to join us. We have a training coming up next Saturday. Other ways to become part of the movement is to participate in a circle or to hold your own circle if you have been in a few. This is some information about the next event in Phoenix on November 8th. We call it Amplify Empathy. You find my email here if you want to know about it. It's also on Facebook. It will be on the calendar of our Empathy Center. Oh,
Fantastic.
okay, so about change, there are 2 pretty famous quotes. One is attributed to Margaret Mead, but it's not certain it's from her, but we all love it. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. I love this other quote. It's by a chemist, and obviously it applies to chemistry, but to atoms. But since we're all made of a bunch of atoms, I think it can be said about people too. When a complex system is far from equilibrium, small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos have the capacity to shift the system to a higher order.
Thank you, Ingrid, for bringing water to the desert and empathy from Phoenix to the world. Connect with Ingrid to learn how to host your own circles or just share in this growing global network.